In part 3 of this very special Lake Log episode, yeah, I'm back in Florida, but I cannot stop thinking about Africa. There's an old joke that goes something like, where does an 800-pound gorilla eat? Anywhere it wants. Well, where does a 12,000-pound elephant eat?
Somone, ipya bansunga bayawe, somone, ipya bansunga ye, isomone, ipya bansunga bayawe, somone, ipya bansunga iwe, somone, somone, ipya bansunga bayawe, somone, ipya bansunga iwe, somone, somone, ipya bansunga bayawe, somone.
Elephants are a common sight, but they still surprised us every time. If an elephant wanders close to camp, it's left alone to do as it will, for as long as that takes. Chiawa safari camps are operated in as non-intrusive a way as possible. It's the animal's world, and camp staff understands that we humans are just privileged visitors. Respect is the key. If an elephant feels threatened, they may charge. And this is a potentially dangerous situation. While observing them, camp guides always kept the vehicle at a safe distance and did not test the elephant's patience and tolerance for us by staying too long. This elephant is missing a tusk, and our guide explained that elephants have a dominant side, like humans do. A missing, worn, or smaller tusk shows that the elephant might use that side more than the other. If they lose one, it doesn't grow back. There is just so much to talk about when the animal can be as big as 12 feet high and weigh as much as 3 full-sized pickup trucks. But we would probably all agree it's the trunk that makes them so fascinating. Elephant trunks have no bones, but as many as 60,000 muscles, and the elephant uses it for smelling, drinking, touching, grasping, lifting, trumpeting, defending itself, and as a snorkel when swimming. The trunk is also strong enough to lift more than 700 pounds, or pull down a tree. A Harvard scientific study from this year looked at the skin of the elephant's trunk and found it to be made up of 2 distinct types. The skin on the top of the trunk is composed of folded skin, and the underside of the trunk is wrinkled. The difference allows the top skin of the trunk to stretch 15% more than the bottom, as well as allow the needed flexibility to curve the trunk downward and inward. This is good for gripping vegetation, or just balancing it. And while we're at it, here's some of my favorite elephant facts. The eyelashes are 5 inches long. The only sweat glands are at the base of their toenails. Elephants don't sweat. They only digest about 50% of the plant matter that they eat, so they poop a lot, up to 250 pounds a day. It will drink 25 to 50 gallons of water a day. And the elephant's heart is about 5% of its body weight, so a 10,000-pound elephant has a heart that weighs 50 pounds. But the more you look at the trunk, the more it seems to have a personality all its own. And superpowers. Elephants have a sense of smell that is said to be 5 times more powerful than a human's and twice that of a dog. And this superior sniffer can detect water from as far as 12 miles away, or a tasty root buried underground. But if you used your nose as a shovel, you'd want to rinse it out afterwards too. You may have heard about the elephant's intelligence. An elephant's brain is the largest of any land mammal and is similar in structure to the human brain. Elephants can learn, communicate, remember, grieve, and show compassion, and they are thought to have intelligence equal to cetaceans, dolphins and whales, and primates. I did some research about elephant family groups and how the social structure works. Usually a matriarchy where one older cow takes the lead, and how bulls aren't really part of the group except when they are guiding and mentoring younger bulls, and how members of the herd all take part in watching over the youngsters, but that's a lot. Here's some baby elephants to watch because, baby elephants. Although they seem plentiful to us, African elephants are an endangered species. Because of habitat loss, their global number is shrinking, and as human populations expand, dangerous encounters with humans rises as well. The African wild dog, or African painted dog, is already endangered and rare, and that explained why our guides were so excited to see them. In Zambia, they are protected by law, but it is estimated that there are less than 7,000 left in Africa. I didn't realize at the time just how lucky we were to see this pack. We observed them on 2 separate days as they napped in the shade to escape the midday heat. Wild dogs look and act a lot like domestic dogs, but I had to remind myself that the African wild dog pack is an efficient hunting machine. They can run at speeds up to 40 miles per hour, and the pack can completely consume a gazelle in about 15 minutes. All members of the pack share in the kill, and adults will regurgitate meat for others and especially for the pups. Our hope was to follow them as they hunted, but for now we waited quietly and watched them as they slept. The dogs remained alert and waited for the signal from a dominant member of the pack. When the time came, they would rise up and take off into the bush with us close behind. This one still showing bloodstains from a previous kill. They watched us too, comfortable that we were not a threat, although wild dogs are sometimes persecuted by humans protecting their livestock. Not all pack members slept. Some kept watch, as lions will kill wild dogs.
There's the female. To the left, right there.
And then, a pregnant female. Not sleeping with the main pack, but part of it nonetheless. Wild dog litters average about 10 pups in size, but only the dominant female breeds, and she may kill the pups born to subordinate members of the pack. This female will stay with the pack until she gives birth, after which she'll typically remain in a den with the pups until they are about 8 to 10 weeks old. And then, just like that, it was time to hunt. 3 vehicles followed as they sprinted off, soon slowing down as their intended prey, a water buck, disappeared into the bush. Camp guides kept each other informed by radio and tried to anticipate where they would go next, all while driving a vehicle, avoiding trees, and sharing their knowledge with us about wild dog behavior.
Okay, copy that.
Joseph. Yeah, just come with the Joseph from our road. Yeah, that's where they're heading.
Okay, copy that.
A few of the dogs stopped to eat the bones of an old water buck skull, and then raced to rejoin the pack.
That's what they're trying to. I cannot do this. Yeah, okay, they are coming. The left.
The pregnant female brought up the rear, accompanied by a few escorts.
That's the mother. You see the mother? Oh, this one. Oh boy. My God, dogs, we don't see them often.
We didn't see if they were successful, but just seeing them was enough. Camp guides are professional trackers with years of bush experience, and Marshall, our guide at Old Mondoro, gave us an immersive tour of his office space, looking for every possible animal sign and sharing every observation with us. I asked him if he could imitate the sounds of the Big Five.
So we have lion, buffalo, that's a buffalo one, elephant, that's elephant, and also we have, what are we missing there? Leopard. Rhino. Oh, that one, I cannot make it. Yeah, so that's a big five. So I was able to make 4, right?
Guides understand wildlife movement and can often predict where animals will be. They also share a lot of information with fellow guides from other camps too. Marshall was able to get us close to one of those Big Five, the leopard. Fresh from a kill, this leopard was resting in an old rusted-out boat. But it quickly tired of us and moved off, completely disappearing into the bush.
You see it, huh?
We moved in to see what was in the boat and saw an impala stashed in the bow. This leopard would probably move this impala to keep it from being stolen. Leopards are incredibly strong and can drag a 100-pound impala up into a tree. For now, it rested. No matter how big they get, a cat is still a cat. And cats like to sleep. Not far from the leopard, we rolled up to watch another member of the Big Five. But they could barely keep their eyes open. The king of beasts is the king of sleep, too. Early the next morning, another leopard, and this one was on the move, scattering impala and waterbuck.
This is the baboon that's chasing it, but this is the male, they won't do anything.
But it quickly became the potential target of some baboons and went from hunter to hunted in a matter of seconds. Baboon groups, we learned, will hunt and kill a leopard just for spite, as leopards frequently prey on baby baboons. Leopards are fast, baboons are fast. Leopards can climb, baboons can climb. I never imagined I would ever see something like this. It all happened so fast. The leopard took off, the baboons gave chase, and the impala and the waterbuck moved out into the open and bunched up into a group. Game viewing drives start at sunrise and end well after sunset, and guides do it every day for months at a time. After the sun goes down, the red lights come out. Animals can hear the vehicle and know we are watching them, but cannot see the red lights. This method is less intrusive for the animal and at the same time enables visitors to see nocturnal animals and the nighttime behaviors of diurnal species as well. Not all camps use this method, much to the disappointment of Chiawa management and staff. Now I know for sure, Cape buffalo don't smile in the dark either. This is the completely nocturnal and omnivorous African civet. The civet gets its name from the French word for weasel, and in some countries it is hunted for civetone, a musky secretion from the animal's perineal gland. Civetone is an ingredient that has been used in the perfume industry for hundreds of years, but civets used for this extraction usually die shortly after capture. A porcupine. And this is the honey badger, the animal that lions fear the most, and the one that really doesn't give a At Chiawa Camp, we had the opportunity to view wildlife on the Zambezi from a canoe. Paddling the Zambezi is far more dangerous than traveling by motorboat, with hippos being the biggest threat, and crocodiles if you end up in the water. Chiawa guides know how to do it though, and we set off for one of the most beautiful places I have ever seen, an oxbow-shaped tributary of the Zambezi. Not the main river, but just as populated. If ever a place touched my very soul, it was this one. After Africa, I wasn't sure if I would ever want to record another bird again. How could the herons and the limpkins that I've recorded 100 times ever be interesting after lions and leopards and elephants? They're just birds in my neighborhood. It took me a while to get my head in the right place. After leaving Zambia, we stayed in the Scottish Highlands for a few days. Rolling green hills, dense woodlands, lochs, and rivers, and horses, and sheep, and rain. I had a lot of time to think. And then one rainy Scottish morning, I watched a wild pheasant walk through the yard. I picked up my camera. In that moment, I saw that there is no real difference between it and an elephant. It is just as important to me and to the world.